Let's talk about another type of complex sentence. That's one that has an adjective clause in it. And remember what questions adjectives answer. Which one, what kind, how many, whose. So it's always describing a noun. When we graph it, diagram it, it will come off of the noun. But sometimes an entire clause, not just like a prepositional phrase or a word, but an entire clause might be answering these questions and be telling us more. But in a clause, remember, you always have a subject and a verb. So it looks like another sentence, but it is subordinate to the rest of the sentence. So you have a main sentence, and then you have a clause that describes a key word in that sentence. And let's look at this sentence I have here. Will you follow the path that God has planned for you? So now I chose this one for a couple of reasons. One is it's worded as a question, okay? So we need to rearrange it when we diagram it and put it as a statement. But let's see if we can identify what the adjective clause is. We want to look for a subordinating conjunction like this, that God has promised for you. And that tells us, that, literally that, tells us that that whole thing is telling us more about the path. What path? Which path? Which one? Which path? The one that God has planned for you. That's the path. So, let's get the blue marker here. You will follow. That's the action verb, subject, path. By the way, you can, when you go to grid, and you probably know this by now, but just in case, when we have a modifier coming off, it can be anywhere. It could be here, 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 as long as it's coming off of this part. All right? That God has planned for you. So now let's take this last part and figure out, well, what is the subject? God has planned. Sounds like the verb, another action verb. Now this is what's interesting. Here's where the word that, God has planned that. And then for you. Where does for you go? I could argue that it could go in either place, that it could maybe go under that, has planned that for you, but it's actually better here. And this is where you're probably going to find it in the score key. Planned for you, that God has planned for you. Now, what we do is we take the word that is subjective, the subjective, whatever it is, this word that's tying this whole clause in, because this is the word that's connecting to this noun and makes it the adjective clause, subordinating conjunction. There we go. We're going to do the dotted line from this noun to the word that. All right, and I'm just confirming that I didn't lead you astray. Okay. So there you go. That ties it in. Whenever we have a adjective clause, that's the one that goes on the bottom, and then the main sentence is the one that will go on the top. I guess to finish this, I should label these. All right, so hopefully, we don't need these tails to be that long. Hopefully that helps you understand this type. There's another example in the workbook here, the little handbook. Let's see. Adjective clause. All right, here on the top of page 20. The man who fears the Lord is wise. Now notice that one, it comes in the middle of the sentence, the man who fears the Lord. So that answers the question, which one or what kind of man? The man who fears the Lord. And so this sentence down here, who fears Lord, man is wise. The man, then notice that we draw a line from man down to the word who. And that's tying these two clauses together, the independent clause and the dependent clause. All right, there's a little more description of it here in that paragraph. The neat thing about the paces is they do try to be consistent in following, whether you're in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade level, 11th grade, they still use a lot of the same examples that we have in this handbook. And so hopefully this video will kind of help refresh your memory or explain it to you. And now you can do the rest of the assignments with the adjective clauses.